Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're here to show you a very old traditional block, but a lot of fun with it is the Chevron block. Now with the Chevron block, I'm going to show you how to do the 4 at a time Flying Geese method, because that was also a viewer requested thing, so this is going to appear in 2 playlists. This is going to be in the playing with traditional blocks and the how-to reference blocks. But first, I want to talk to you about Ross at Quilt Meets World. Now his YouTube channel is in the show notes below, as well as our Facebook group. So if you go check out Ross and you like what you see, tell him Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. But our Facebook group, there's virtual sew days 24/7, and we're posting pictures and having a lot of fun. It's a great little group, and you get to know the members in your community because you get to actually sew with them in the virtual rooms. We also have the Zoom sew date for our monthly Zoom meeting. I know I'm saying Facebook room and Zoom virtual day. I know they're 2 different dates, so people are still getting them confused, but that's okay. So that's going to be in the show notes below, and that Zoom link also tells you the dates for up until December. So you can put it on your calendar and get stuff ready for you to come visit and do this. It'll be fun. So come on in. We got lots of sewing to do here today. Okay, we're here at the sewing machine, and what we're going to do is this 4 at a time, the fast 4 at a time Flying Geese works just like this. You take a block, and if you have one of these tools, these little magic wands, like you can just go line it up from point to point and draw your lines. Now, the other thing is if you don't have one of these rulers, you can use one of these. And basically then you're lining up and you're putting your 1/4 inch away from the center, right? Like, so your centers are like a 1/4 inch in from the edge of your ruler, and you let me just draw this real quick, and I'm hoping this doesn't skip. And then you just flip it around and you line it up again so that the 1/4 inch marks are just right at the tip of the tip of the block, and there you go. That's how you can draw your lines without one of these little magic rulers. They are handy, but sometimes they don't like to stay in place. Now, we're going to need to do like 8 flying geese. Now, there's some rules with 8 flying geese. These fast, easy 8 flying geese. You line them up and you pin them down. That's how they're done. So you just pin them just like this, so they don't shift on you while you're sewing, because you're going to be sewing on top, and you're just going to be kissing that line on the outside of the line. So that means when you're sewing, you're going to be sewing on this part, not in here. Okay. Now, I'm going to get these ready to rock and roll, and so now I'm going to get this. I've already drawn these lines. I don't know if you can see the line really well there, but a chevron block usually has the same colors. Well, you can do whatever you want with a chevron block, really, because they're lots of fun actually to play with in your sewing room. Okay. So the dark blue goes on the light blue, and these lines should kind of line up, right? So that's kind of important too. Okay, the last pin, and then we stop, we start again. Now, in quilting, as you know, there's finished size and unfinished size. So the rule for these is you take the finished size, which I'm making, let's see, 4.5, no, 6.5. I made it 3 by 6.5. Yeah, 3 by 6 is the finished size of these blocks. So it's for the height. Your Flying Geese is 3 inches finished, or 3.5 unfinished. So you add 7/8 to the finished size. To the finished size, you're adding 7/8. To the finished size, because the block now is going to be 3 by 6 finished, you're going to add 1.25 inches, right, on the length. And that gives you this measurement, right, this like 7 1/4, because it's going to be 3 by, basically it's, you know, it's 3 by 6, so in order to get your square to get 4 at a time, you would need a 7 1/4, right? Just add your 1 1/4. Well, let's get this started. There. Did I miss it? A little bit. Okay. Alright. Now I'm just kissing this line. I'm on this side, and I'm close as I can to be touching the line, but not quite touching the line. Okay, now I'm going to do this one right behind it, as I can. And I'm just touching that line. I'm not quite on the line. There we go. And now you just spin it around, give it a little pull so you get some extra thread, and you go back down the other way. You can make several flying geese like this. You make hundreds of them just doing this little lining them up and making it happen. So, okay, I'm going to get to the other side here real quick. Okay. And now I'm just going to run a half square triangle through. Just because I can. I got them sitting here as a leader ender, so I might as well get them done. Now, so here we go. We've got all of this. And we just clip them apart like that. We take the pins out and grab your fabric scissor, and you're just going to snip down the middle. Just like that. Oh, I should take my pins out first. There. These are okay. This is not my favorite because sometimes when I'm dealing with scrap, I don't have pieces. If I want to make a larger, like flying goose, I might not have a piece of fabric that's 7 1/4 inches for like a 6 by 3 goose, right? So that's where it kind of creates a bit of a problem. Okay, now I'm just finger pressing this out of the way, and I'm going to grab another square. Oops, I'm going to grab another square and just line this up. Take your time lining it up and give it a good pin, just like that. And there we go. There's one. I'm just going to, again, just stay on the one side of the line. Oh, get rid of that little half square triangle. And just finger press this up and out of the way. Grab your next square. Okay. There we go. Pin it in place. Yeah, you can do lots in a day. Like lots of these in a day. Like it's amazing how fast they go. And you just want to sew on the same side. And you want to be on the outside of those lines. So you want to be sewing on this side. Just touching that edge. Okay. We'll get to the pale ones. Or the little flying geese that are pale. Okay. Here. Reach over. There we go. And we just line them up. And if everything's cut correctly, I mean, they just fall together. You know, it's just like, and yes, I know 7/8 and all 3/8 and all that stuff are weird sizes to cut, but you know, you end up with a perfect flying geese out of them. that you can, you know, use without, you know, having too much trimming up going on, right? I'm just going to get this out of the way. There we go, just like so. There we go, just there. That's the last goose to go in. These are lots of fun when these chevrons are lots of fun when they're all scrappy. But, okay, now, saying that, we're at the end. Give it a quick spin. And on my machine, I want to hold my thread away from, there we go. There we go, that's nice. It's going to nest good. Everything's going to be nice. Yeah, these are fast actually. Just about there. The hardest thing about this is just sewing beside the line. That's it. That's the hardest thing about these. And they look kind of weird and funky, don't they, when you first get them out, but they do work. And I've got another half square triangle to sew together. It's all good. There we go. Yeah. Okay, now you have 4 of these, right? And as promised, we're going to clip them apart. Here's 1 flying goose, or 2 flying geese. Okay, another one. You can see how I'm cutting just down through the center. Just, you know, trying to line it up a little bit, but I mean, if it don't line up perfect, that's okay. It's okay. It'll be fine. There we go. Now, okay, so now we have all these flying geese, right? And you just kind of finger press these all to open, right? You kind of give them a good little finger pressing and, you know, kind of line them all up. And yes, there's dog ears on them. It's, you know, they may not be the prettiest girl at the party, but they're definitely a flying goose, right? So, there you go. Lining all this stuff up. There. You have 4 with the dark center, or darker center. This one will not. Finger press nice because it's too soft to surface. And you have 4, and now we want to put the lighter ones. So now, your next biggest problem is to decide whether you want a dark chevron or a light chevron. And I am going to go with a dark chevron. And that's how we're lining this up. So this will all go this way, right? Just like that. That's your chevron block. So in order to make this block sew where you don't lose this point, you have to sew it like this, where you're sewing and flipping, right? So now, I don't even have to get the dog ear out of the way. I just have to kind of, there we go. Oh, I should probably get the right foot needs to go on. That would be good. Oh. So, we have got some speaking engagements for guilds lined up already. I want to thank you guys for talking to your guild people. And the guilds are quite surprised that I'm doing this for free. They're like, oh wow, really? Well, trying to help them out, you know. They've got tighter budgets because their memberships are down. So it's hard to find good, you know, it's hard to find speakers and do all your community service quilts that, you know, people are asking for or needing, right? So you know, it's one of those things. So there we go. And I'm just going to line this up again. And you can probably clip all your dog ears off, but there we go. I just want to show you how fast these are. Like I say, this is not my favorite method because sometimes my scraps aren't that big, you know, so I can't make use of this method. And sometimes too, like if you only have like jelly roll strips, you know, that you can't make this block because your fabric is, your scraps, your leftover bits from jelly rolls are too small. Right? So, and now this X, I'm just going to show you this real quick. Where's my pencil? This X is right here. Ugh. Help if I got the pencil out. So this X is right here. Right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's my X. Right there and right there. So I'm just marking on the stitching line so you can see it. Right? If you can see that little X. You want to go on this side of that X, not on this side. And when you go on this side of the X, you cut off your points. But when you go on this side of the X, you can actually steer your sewing machine or your patchwork there so that you end up right on just like a thread away from that point, right? So that, okay, that's where we go. All right, now, okay, now I'm just going to do that one more time. There we go. And so yet another crazy colorful passcode triangle, because there's a leader, they're just a leader and ender that I'm going to use in a quilting project later on. So there we go. So now we have 4 mini chevron blocks. Now there is all sorts of different things you can do to lay these out. Oops, let me go this way. And we're going to press to the dark. So you can lay them out like this. And that looks kind of interesting, you know, because you get like a light chevron and a dark chevron going. You know, so here I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. There. So there's your chevrons. And I know they're all pressed the same direction, right? But you could change how one of these is pressed, right? So that you could, you know, you press this way, well then you press the other way for the other one, right? So just, you haven't missed any points because you were able to negotiate your points because you're sewing with the point up, so you can see your point, right? So this is one way of laying them out. The other is this way, and basically with all the points going in the center. I mean, that's a different way of laying them out. Or you can have all the points going out. This is another way. I just kind of, I like this one. It kind of, it's a funky little wave thing going on. And I think we're going to sew it this way, just so I can show you how you can line up your points because you have 2 points. So which side are you going to sew it on? So let's start here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pin. And I'm going to position my pin right at the peak of that point, right there. So you can see where that pin is coming out. And I'm going to put it into the next pin, right in to that peak. Now, if you have, now you're holding this quite firmly, and you're just going to like position it there so that your needle stays up and down. Because if you push this way, one of those is going to be out. But if you have it so that it remains like at a 90-degree angle to your work, that point is not going to go anywhere. And this is what they call precision pinning. Now there's those double, see now this thing, the pin is stayed at a right angle, right? So you can kind of see that it's, you know, it's not going in. You just pull that pin out. And again, you would do the same thing here. Now sometimes people have those double pins where there's 2 pins in a horseshoe, and I'll show you at the end what I'm talking about. I don't have them handy or close here right now, so I can't show them to you. They're like a fork. So you would basically put in your pins now, like, because you would put it on either side and pin it down into place. Those are really good, and they help you get some very precise pinning, right? Most of the stuff I do, I don't need that kind of precision. But just thought I'd let you know in case you want to up your skill. I mean, right now, in my life, oh, I'm sorry, I got all this coughing going on now. It's the snow mold season. So here we go. We're lining up the one side. And just move that out of the way so it's lined nice. And you're still going to try and aim on this side of that X, right? And as you get close to your pins, hand crank until you make your point. This thing is in the way. There we go. And now we do the other one. You know, those fork pins are nice when you're trying to, you're having, sometimes fabric, doesn't matter what you do, it's going to shift, and they certainly help. And as you get closer to that center, and you want to just hand crank it over. There we go. And get rid of that pin. And just let it go right to the end. Get another little triangle done. Sew it up. There we go. Okay, now, oops, get rid of that. Okay, now, we're going to open these up just like this. And you can see how that all goes. Now, these points, I have not missed the point, right? Actually, I've got a little bit of room between them, and that's okay. That's fine, right, to have that kind of, that going on. Now, you're going to try and make these points, but the problem is all of this stuff is now sewn the same direction. Well, you can remove some bulk first by just giving this a little trim. And we're going to leave that one, but we are going to trim these bigger points. Just going to trim them away because they get in the way of your foot as you're running it through. I'm just going to trim a little deep. Okay, and trim down. Good thing I got my garbage can beside me today. My husband says I just must. I'm sure my husband thinks I just chuck it on the floor. Maybe I do. I don't know anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay, so get this way. Here. And when we square this up, all those outer dog ears are going to go away, right? Okay. Now, you can take one and push it up and put the top one down. Just basically you're flipping this. You know, the seam, so it nests and it goes the right way. And I'm going to do the same here. Because we do want that center to match. Oh, come on. Come on. It's not matching up. There we go. I got it nested now. There. Now, this goes down. This one goes up. There we go. And that should help you make your points on the side. And now we're just going to get the bottom. And one more triangle. There we go. Now, we get to our ta-da moment. Okay, here's our block chevron. Isn't that just a very striking pattern? Can you imagine an entire quilt made of these blocks? I mean, you don't have to lie them or make them so they're both all going like point to point, but I mean, this would be a lot of fun and very quick to do. Also, I hope you try that 4 at a time if your scraps are big enough, because that 4 at a time Flying Geese method is really good and it is fast. I mean, I was taking my time explaining stuff and as we went, but I mean, it is a good, fast method. It's just that lots of times I don't have scraps big enough, and it's not my favorite method, but it does work. It works well when you have bigger scraps. So I hope you have just a fabulous week ahead, and you take care until we meet again, okay? All right, bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023, and it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people. Those monthly Zoom sew dates are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023, and we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.